So as you know, with the Venezuelan, whatever we did in Venezuela, it's like Trump did this and then walked away from the country, making them trying to make him a vassal of the United States. Kind of did. One of the things that they were getting was oil from Venezuela. Well, that oil's cut off. One part of it because Trump sold a tanker of it, sold it, and put the money in an account for him and his family in Qatar. Facts are facts. Okay. We didn't do a regime change, excuse me, in Venezuela, more of a loyalty change. Okay. Made them loyal to us. So fast forward now, the Cuban government the Cubans are in a mess. Without oil, no source of oil, the government's having issues. Okay. This is what they want. They want a regime change. As Trump said, he wants to make Marco Rubio president of Cuba. Yeah, whatever, Marco. Enjoy that. But when you give you a little history lesson, real quick. So, right after Fidel Castro came to power, and kicked off, a lot of people ran for their lives because Batista was their Batista loyalists, and they wanted to run, and then they didn't want, and the communists were going to get them. A lot of them ran to Florida, and then they got together with the CIA because Kennedy did not want to invade Cuba, didn't want to mess with Cuba, but his CIA agreed to a off the books like regiment or militia, I would call, of former Cuban nationals who were loyal to Batista, and they tried to invade Cuba at the Bay of Pigs. Now, they were supposed to get American support, but it was pulled back at the last minute, and they got slaughtered. And that was the beginning of the end of Cuban and American relationships beyond just a communist government when that happened. So today, the Cuban military is reporting, or their version of the Coast Guard is reporting, that they have engaged a speedboat out of Florida that once it got near their borders, their Coast Guard came out to meet them and say, hey, what's going on? And they were fired on by this Florida boat, and then they returned fire, which killed 1 Cuban soldier and 4 whoever was on the other boat. The other boat has run, but the Cubans aren't happy. This smells of Bay of Pigs incompetency to a new level with the Trump regime, and may use this as a military action to go after Cuba. But this is just the day after the State of the Mess address. I mean, I'm going to say this straight up. If you're going to do a regime change, be in for it. Be in for it, period. Do what you're going to do, right? Take it over. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's a competent thing to do. Then in Venezuela, you didn't change the regime. You just changed their loyalty at the point of a gun. And in Cuba, if you think you're going to change that regime and people are going, oh, thank you, the Americans are here to save us, you're fucking out of your minds. Only Cubans in Florida feel that way. But by the way, Trump just pulled your status anyway. Might as well go home, right? What the hell? The point being is, this is another distraction, another example of what's about to happen to us in the next few months. Coming up to the midterms, they're going to try anything to throw us off the scent, anything to get us away of the focus of getting rid of this regime. Be it the upticks in ICE, the concentration camps, the saber rattling with Iran, which the military doesn't want to mess with because they know they can't win that war. Okay? Especially when your biggest and baddest aircraft carrier has basically a sewer issue. That was horrible to see. This is what they're going to try to do until November. So keep that in mind when you hear all this shit.